Okay, good morning. Welcome to
FamilyMath332a.
FamilyMath332. So yesterday I saw this amazing probability problem on Twitter. It's actually one of the neatest problems I've ever seen. And although it's a little bit too advanced for kids, the solution is so cool that I just wanted to walk you through it. And there's parts of it that you'll be able to understand.
Yep.
And believe it or not, along the way we're going to encounter some really cool numbers like pi squared over 6. So this is actually a kind of fun project, just talking about a really complicated problem. So here's the problem. Choose positive integers a, b, c, and d at random. So pick random positive integers. Okay. What is the probability that the greatest common divisor of a and b is equal to the greatest common divisor of c and d?
Well, that doesn't seem very likely.
Oh, okay. Good observation. Why not?
When you're picking random numbers from 1 to infinity,
Uh-huh.
how often are the greatest common factors going to be equal?
Yeah. How often? Well, so that actually is a good starting point, because it's one of the most important things in problem solving is making sure you understand the question, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, what does GCD even mean?
It's the greatest common divisor.
Greatest common divisor. That's its name.
Mm-hmm.
But what does it mean?
So if you have like 10 and 20, the greatest common divisor would be 10.
Okay.
Because 10 times 2 is 20.
Okay. So what does it mean? That's a good example.
Well, it's the greatest number that goes into both of them.
Aha. The largest number that goes into both of them. So if I had the greatest common divisor of, let's say, what would the greatest common divisor of 12 and 32 be?
Well, 12 doesn't go into 32. Well, could. 4 goes into both of them. 4 times 8. 4 times 3. And 3 doesn't go into them?
3 goes into 12.
Yeah, but it doesn't go into 32.
Mm-hmm.
32 is 2 to the 5th. So all it has is 2's, and this only has 4 in it. So the greatest common divisor would be 4.
Okay, good. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
What?
I do.
Okay. All right. So we understand what the greatest common divisor is. What is it?
It's the greatest. It's the biggest number that goes into the two numbers, or
Okay.
maybe 3, depending on how much you're doing.
Yeah, that's true. You can have the greatest common divisor of a whole collection of numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's go back to the question you had. You said it doesn't seem very likely that the greatest common divisors would be equal when you're picking numbers at random. That's an interesting observation. So what do you think the most likely thing is when you're picking all these 4 numbers at random?
Well, they're likely to be all different. Like, the 4 numbers. Well, they don't have to be all different, but the 4 numbers are probably going to be all different.
Why?
Because
There's infinity numbers.
there's infinity numbers, and once you choose A, what's the probability that you're going to get B as A? It's 1 over infinity.
Yeah, it seems pretty small, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what about the greatest common divisors of the A and B and C and D? What do you think the most likely thing to happen with that is?
Well, the numbers, there's some greatest common divisors that are the same even though the numbers are different.
Yeah.
So the most likely thing is the numbers are different, but the greatest common divisors are the same. So the numbers don't have to be the same.
Like, maybe if you had 12 and 32 here, and 4 and 8 here.
Okay, so that might be an example where you could get them equal.
Yeah.
Interesting. And what do you think the most likely greatest common divisor is for when I pick just 2 numbers at random?
I think it'll be 1. They could be relatively prime, have no common factors.
Do you think that's the most likely?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
How come? Why do you think that's the most likely?
Well, I mean, if you're picking 2 numbers at random, Well, I mean, there's a chance that they could have some same factors.
Yeah, there definitely is a chance.
Like half, maybe. Well, maybe that's not the most likely because half of the numbers are gonna be divisible by 2.
Ah, interesting.
So if you have a number, so 1/4 of the time, the GCD here is gonna be 2.
Aha. How often is it?
Is it?
How often is the greatest common divisor? Well, actually, let's move on to talk about that because that's a great observation. All right.
Okay.
Alright.